Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the AYE wireless Bluetooth soundbar. It sells on Amazon for $55, which actually makes it one of the most inexpensive options that you can pick up. Compared to the Amazon Basics 2.0 soundbar that sells for $60 compared to the Maydun soundbar that sells for $130. This one is significantly more cost effective. You have a 20-watt driver for the speaker. It uses Bluetooth, or you can use a traditional 3.5mm auxiliary cable, and you can either mount it or put it onto a desk or onto a TV stand for entertainment purposes. Packaging here, very simple. Inside we have just the speaker or the soundbar itself, and we'll take a closer look at it in a second. On top we have access to the accessories. There's the mounting screws, and there is the instruction manual printed in black and white telling you how to set it up, how to mount it, and to pair it with Bluetooth. And then this is the optical cable that they give you as a bonus if, again, you don't want to use Bluetooth. Here is the built-in remote control. It uses a cell-based battery that I need to pull out. It uses a simple IR sensor and a cell-based battery for you to then use and change the audio source, power, volume, bass, as well as the treble, and playing, pausing the music. So pretty typical. Here's what the soundbar looks like taken out of the packaging. It's actually 24 inches long and it weighs roughly 2 pounds or so. It's crafted primarily out of plastic, actually a very shiny material, and it matches most television sets, I would say, without too many issues. It blends into the background pretty well. And the Bluetooth range using Bluetooth 4.0 is roughly 26 feet. So if you have, let's say, a laptop that you're connected to somewhere in another room, it should still be fully functional. All right, so taking a close look here, we do have a passive radiator embedded onto the center for bass, and then there's the two 10-watt speakers, which adds up to 20 watts. And of course, the benefit of a soundbar in the first place would be sound separation. Since the drivers are so far apart from one another, when you're sitting in front of a sofa or a television set, you can hear everything kind of in 3D space, in surround sound. So it gives you a very realistic listening experience. It also looks very elegant, of course, and since it's an all-in-one solution, takes up less space than a taller, more traditional looking speaker. So again, those are the benefits. If we take a quick look at the design here, the plastic here does attract quite a few fingerprints and dust, so that is one potential con. On the side here, we do have access to the keys for tapping on the Bluetooth pairing button. When it's plugged into power, it's automatically turned on. You can see this red LED light on the side. There's no dedicated battery or power switch inside. There's the traditional 3.5mm plug if you don't want to use Bluetooth. There are volume adjustments on the side. Kind of wish that they would be on the top, but I understand how that would disrupt kind of the streamlined design. But on the side, it is a little bit cumbersome. If you have it mounted below the TV, you have to kind of reach, unless you use a remote, of course. There's also the dedicated kind of source selection key, and on the back here, you can see that this is where the power goes into. There is kind of the additional optical auxiliary inputs if you want to use those instead. I do wish that there was kind of a groove or a cutout here that would make the cable lie flat if I have this completely mounted on a surface, because right now it kind of just hangs off at various angles. And there's also the mounting brackets. There is the model number printed on the back, the Bluetooth soundbar, and then that's it. The other side is completely flat with no other controls. So pausing the music there, you can see that through the remote, it actually does pause the sound on the phone that's being played back, since again it's communicating using IR to the soundbar, and of course the soundbar is communicating to the phone using Bluetooth. And it's all without too much lag or delay, so everything is actually pretty fast. If I tap and play and pause the music, you can hear there's no static or distortion in the background. So it's actually a very clean sounding overall sound reproduction. There's no hissing at all, which is nice to find, especially on such a budget-oriented Bluetooth product. Turning up the volume higher as well as lower, it also still remains fairly clean sounding. Overall, I would say that there is bass, but it's not quite as much as I kind of expected, seeing how bass is a separate key on the remote. That being said, it does sound pretty good. Mids and highs are also nicely reproduced. Voices sound natural, and instruments come across as loud and clean. So overall, for listening to pop music, electronic music, also for movies in particular, it does a good job of building up dynamics, and again gives you a pretty clean, warm sounding overall sound. I wouldn't say that it's particularly quite as detailed as a hi-fi or high-res audio certified device or speaker. It doesn't get quite as nuanced if you really try to pick out individual instruments, things like that. But overall, in terms of movement of the sound, it does a pretty good job, and also packs quite a volume. Right there, we were only at roughly 60% of the volume, and it already filled up the space without any problems. So it gets very loud considering how small and flat the overall speaker is. So quite impressive in that sense. Bluetooth, again, connection range also seems to be quite strong with no real interference, static, or distortion. So that's been our hands-on video review of the wireless Bluetooth soundbar. I would say that this is a good option if you are on a budget and looking for a basic soundbar to pair with a television or with a desk setup. Although it doesn't give you the most detailed sound quality, it packs a good punch in terms of the volume, and overall does a good job of playing back movies, soundtracks, and EDM music, and again, pop music. The pairing process is simple, and the fact that you have many different types of audio sources, from optical, line in, auxiliary to Bluetooth to pick from, gives you plenty of options to choose what you want to try pairing with this soundbar. So that's been our video, and you can check out more details in our article soon, but thanks for watching here at OS.